Hey, I'm Alphi. Imagine if student loans were capped at $50,000 for your entire education. What careers would suddenly be out of reach for students without family wealth? Today, we'll break down which professions would be most affected, and how this would reshape who holds power in our society. Embarking on the journey to becoming a doctor already presents a formidable financial hurdle. The sheer cost of medical education is staggering. Tuition alone can easily surpass $250,000 at public schools, and the financial burden escalates even further at private institutions, creating a significant barrier to entry. With a $50,000 loan cap, the dream of becoming a doctor becomes unattainable for many aspiring students. In effect, only the wealthy could realistically afford to pursue a medical education, creating a system where financial privilege dictates access to the profession. This shuts out countless talented and dedicated students from modest backgrounds, denying them the opportunity to contribute their skills and perspectives to the field of medicine. The result? What are the long-term consequences of such a system? A medical profession increasingly dominated by privilege, where the voices and experiences of those from less affluent backgrounds are marginalized. This leads to less diversity within the medical community, hindering its ability to effectively address the healthcare needs of a diverse population. Ultimately, this results in less connection and understanding between doctors and the communities they are meant to serve, perpetuating health disparities. The future of healthcare risks being shaped by who can afford to pay for it rather than by the principles of equity and access for all. This undermines the very foundation of a just and effective healthcare system, prioritizing financial resources over the qualifications and dedication of aspiring medical professionals. Law school costs represent a significant investment in one's future, a gateway to a career in law. But what happens when that gateway becomes a toll booth, accessible only to a select few? They easily top $200,000, a staggering sum that includes tuition, fees, books, and living expenses. The financial burden can be overwhelming, casting a long shadow over a student's life even before they begin their legal career. This figure is far beyond our hypothetical cap, creating a system where the pursuit of justice is inherently unequal from the start. Without access to loans, the dream of becoming a lawyer can quickly turn into an unachievable fantasy. Aspiring lawyers from non-wealthy families, those who often bring unique perspectives and a deep understanding of societal challenges, would be locked out, denied the opportunity to contribute their talents and passion to the legal profession. The legal field would become even more exclusive, further solidifying the dominance of privileged backgrounds and potentially skewing the interpretation and application of the law. This would lead to fewer public defenders, those crucial advocates who ensure that everyone, regardless of their financial status, receives adequate legal representation, and fewer civil rights advocates, those dedicated individuals who fight tirelessly to protect the rights and liberties of marginalized communities. Ultimately, fewer lawyers from diverse backgrounds would enter the field, diminishing the richness of perspectives and experiences within the legal system. Justice would be shaped by those who can afford the price of admission, creating a system where wealth and privilege dictate access to legal representation and influence the very fabric of the law. Dental school debt averages nearly $300,000. A $50,000 loan cap would make dentistry an option only for the wealthy, worsening access to care in low-income communities. The field would lose diversity and cultural competency, and oral health disparities would grow. Dentistry would become an inherited profession, not a merit-based one. Pharmacy school costs up to $200,000, making it unattainable for most under a strict loan cap. Only those with family wealth could become pharmacists, shrinking the workforce and limiting access in underserved areas. The profession would lose the perspectives of those most motivated to serve their communities. Healthcare gaps would widen as a result. Earning a PhD often means years of low stipends and financial instability. Without loans, only those with financial safety nets could afford to pursue academia. The professoriate would become even more homogeneous, excluding voices from working-class backgrounds. Intellectual diversity and innovation would suffer. Clinical psychology doctorates require years of expensive education and unpaid internships. A $50,000 cap would block most aspiring psychologists from low and middle-income families. The mental health field would lack the diversity needed for effective, culturally competent care. Patients would lose out on therapists who understand their lived experiences. Becoming an airline pilot through a university program can cost over $200,000. A $50,000 loan cap would ground the dreams of anyone without significant wealth. The pilot pipeline would shrink, and the profession would become less accessible and less diverse. Aviation's spirit of opportunity would be replaced by exclusivity. Elite degrees are the ticket to top jobs in finance, law, and consulting, but they're among the most expensive in the world. With limited loans, only the wealthy could access these powerful networks and credentials. The cycle of privilege would intensify, narrowing the perspectives at the top. Meritocracy would give way to aristocracy. Graduate degrees from elite schools, often seen as gateways to success, are common stepping stones to political power, a path many aspire to tread to influence policy and shape the future. But what happens when the cost of entry becomes prohibitive? A $50,000 loan cap, while seemingly generous, would make public service careers inaccessible to most, effectively barring individuals from lower socioeconomic backgrounds from participating in the political process. This disconnects leaders from the people they represent, creating a government that may not fully understand or address the needs of its constituents. Policy would then be shaped by those who can afford elite credentials, those privileged enough to navigate the expensive landscape of higher education without crippling debt. It would not be shaped by those with lived experience, those who have first-hand knowledge of the challenges faced by everyday Americans. Ultimately, democracy would suffer from a lack of diverse voices in government, leading to policies that are out of touch and potentially harmful to the very people they are meant to serve. Capping student loans at $50,000 would turn high-impact careers into privileges for the wealthy. Social mobility would stall, and our institutions would lose diversity, innovation, and empathy. The real question: how do we ensure opportunity is based on talent, not wealth? Let us know your ideas for reform in the comments. Thanks for watching.